What goes into crafting the instruments that fill our world with music?
And you covered the holes, man. You did. You got the low G there as well.
Welcome to The Instrument Makers, a new YouTube series where we visit diverse instrument workshops.
Oh, this blade's not very sharp. That's very annoying.
Explore the artistry and techniques of master craftsmen.
I'm going to credit this. This is David's upgrade.
And share the fascinating stories and insights we discover along the way.
Wanna try it?
In this very special episode of The Instrument Makers, I visit Dániel Váczi, the inventor of Glissotar, a fretless saxophone. What makes this visit unique is that I actually bought one of these prior to visiting. I had coincidentally discovered this instrument a few months before embarking on this Instrument Makers project. I was so enthralled by the possibilities that I bought one. Only by coincidence was I traveling to Budapest later, and I knew I had to visit him. However, they had received so many orders recently that by the time I visited him a few months later, my instrument order was still not complete. Not only was my visit to Dániel to learn about his journey and to see how they are made, but to interrogate him about where my purchased instrument was, and to also try one out for the first time. I was grateful to meet both Dániel and Zsombor, one of the instrument makers that helps in the building process. I learned about their journey, how the different elements of this new instrument comes together, and about the wide uses the instrument has in our evolving modern musical landscape. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and consider checking out my website to learn more about this project. We began the interview as Dániel drove us to Zsombor's workshop.
Afterwards.
Oh, no, that did fall. Did you enjoy learning the saxophone?
Oh, wow. The fourth one, you catched it. Yes, I'm from Budapest. I live in Budapest side for 50 years now.
Oh, wow.
So I born there and I'm still there in the same flat, more or less, the same house. Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's the same house that you were born in.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Can you tell us where we're driving right now?
We are driving to Pács, which is near Budapest. It is a small village, kind of. So Zsombor is the violin maker who is making our instruments at the end. Okay. So he is doing all the woodworks, the wood afterworks and oiling and all the parts. What was made in different workshops he put together. Actually, it's a funny story because we used to go to the same primary school when we were 6.
Oh, wow.
So we spent like 6 years together as a child, and then we didn't know much about each other after. Mm-hmm. But then I just met him on a bus, and we started to talk about and then we started to talk about the instrument and
like a public bus.
Yes,
like
public
one
bus.
Of these years.
And we already heard about the instrument, so he was very fascinated. And then I asked if he wants to help us because we needed some violin makers or instrument maker who can do the woodwork professionally like an instrument and not just like a woodworker.
Okay.
He said, okay, let's see how is it, and he learned it, and now he's doing it. So I didn't start as a musician, or in a way I did because I used to go to a music primary school, which was founded by Zoltán Kodály. And
by Kodály?
Yes.
Oh, wow, yeah. So I would imagine a lot of Hungarian schools use the Kodály method.
Yes. But it was one of the first ones, and he started this school. Actually, my uncle used to go to the very first class of his school of this method.
Wow.
And then so I spent there 8 years, and I used to play the violin for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want really to be a musician. I wanted to be a biologist. At the high school, I started to study more of biology because I was very interested in biology and animals and things like that. Mm-hmm. And after high school, I went to the University of Budapest studying biology. And I have an MA on evolutionary biology and
Oh wow.
ecology.
Okay.
But I didn't start to work at all because in the meantime I started to play the saxophone.
When did you start that?
When I was 17, so it was when I was
Right at the end of high school.
End of high school. I stopped playing the violin and I started the saxophone because I wanted to play jazz. So first I finished the university, and then I went back to the jazz academy. I spent there 1 more year and then quit again because I had enough.
So since then you've been just playing saxophone,
yes.
As a performer?
Yes, as a performer and a composer as well. So I have my own trio since 2001, and I'm playing more and more the Glissotar, which we started to develop with my friend Tobias Terebesi in 2016.
Yeah.
It was just an idea in my head, and he's a very good wood designer. He has all the tools and all the knowledge how to make.
Was this your idea to make this instrument?
Yeah, the basic idea was mine, but then we developed it together. After a while, I started to search the web if there were similar instruments, and of course there were, because nothing is new. But we didn't know about them when we started it.
Yeah.
And then so it came out pretty soon that it works with the magnetic strip.
Yeah.
So we started to develop.
Was that your idea, the magnetic strip?
Yeah.
Did you have experience with designing or making instruments before?
I had,
or even woodworking?
Yeah, I had some other ideas, like with kalimbas, and I have an idea how to make a piano with a different layout of the keys.
Yeah.
So it's more like it's a homogeneous.
Okay. I've seen those with isometric.
Yeah,
is
isometric.
Right?
Yeah. But it's different than.
You designed it. Were you able to make it, or just design?
No, I just designed it yet. I didn't have the time to make it yet.
Okay. Where did you get these skills of learning how to make these, or is it something you've always done?
I think I don't have the skills. That's why it's not done yet. I just have ideas as a musician.
Yeah. That's difficult. How do you have to just push down real hard?
Yes, and with multiple fingers it's easier, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if I push down this first octave key, where should my other fingers be?
Down from here to here, somewhere. So yes. And now switch the higher. Yeah, and the very the top notes, it's not very easy to produce, but you can try with the lower one again.
No fingers, and just
the very high. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. It's tricky to figure out how it goes.
But you can play with one finger as well. So you just hold it and then with one finger up and down.
So what is the lowest note? That's kind of like a...
It's an A flat. Yes. Yes, it's
a concert A flat.
A concert A flat, yes. But you can go even lower with your other hand, putting like that, yes. So you're holding down with one hand. Yeah, that's right.
Oh wow!
So it's altogether like 2.5 octaves.
Oh, you have to rethink of how you play it as well.
Yeah. It's totally new a sensation. Yeah.
Yes.
That was exciting to play. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want to play?
No, I'm really not playing. Well, I'm Zsombor from Hungary. Actually, I'm a violin maker, and I take apart to produce these instruments. So I make a lot of different things on it to finish. Well, I come from a kind of musical family. So my uncle was a viola player and teacher. I grew up with him together with his family. This is where my musical journey began. And after that, I became a violin maker. So actually this is a violin maker workshop. I do repairing and make some new violins, violas and cellos. And nowadays I make wind instruments. It's a very new kind of
challenge.
Yeah, it's a lot of challenge. It's a very different kind of instruments like the violin family. So it's very interesting. I'm always interested in new challenges. So I told him, let's see what we can do together. It was more than a year before, and as I see, we can work together. You know, it's a very different kind of thing. If I make a violin, it's really a newborn by me, and this kind of instrument. It's not just mine. It's ours. It's a lot.
You adopted it.
Yeah,
when it was.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people work. In Cremona, you can find every tools, every wood, and every friend about this who's loving making violins. So. A really inspiring place in this world.
We went to Cremona half year ago with the Glissonic because there is a very big instrument.
Yeah, it's a Cremona Mondo Musica.
It's a fair, yeah.
In Hungary, we have a school for that.
You went to the school?
Yeah, I went to the school, but that's only 2 years, so that's enough for you can get a kind of feeling what it is, and after that you can go if you want.
Okay. But you learned enough that you're like, I'll do it, I'll start.
Yeah, but you know, this kind of job, like to be a musician, it's all lifelong learning.
The shape is from the inside. It's a proper a cone. So it's a circle. When you cut it like this, it will be a circle from the inside, but from the outside, it's an oval shape because it is made out of two parts like this, made by CNC machine and then glued together like this, and it makes bigger the gluing surface. This is one reason, and the other one is that we need a wide slot here, so it has to be wider than a normal soprano saxophone or a tarrogato, and from the inside the cone is between the soprano sax and the Hungarian folk instrument, the tarrogato. The angle of the cone is in between the soprano, which is very open, and the tarrogato, which is very closed.
So there is some Hungarian influence in this instrument.
Yes. We used to work with a very good tarrogato maker at the beginning of our journey, József Tóth. He is one of the best tarrogato maker. He helped us to develop the shape as well, and yes, it was an idea because of Tobias is working with wood usually, and I play the saxophone, so a tarrogato is in between somewhere. So he could make it and I could play it. So at the beginning we started to experiment with Tobias Terebesi, who is a designer and woodworker. And so the very first instrument was just a piece of bamboo with a slot and with a magnetic strip, and I put a alto saxophone mouthpiece and just blow it, and we could see that it works like this. And then we started to develop, how could we make the body more like a saxophone? So that's how we met József Tóth, who is the tarrogato maker. But in the meantime, we worked with Barna Gábos, who is a wooden flute maker, and we made some experiments with flute version as well. And we started to work with Endre Pastor, who is a very good a recorder maker, and we made some experiments with recorders. So actually the Glissonic is an instrument family, and the Glissotar or Glissonic tarrogato is the first member of the family which is developed fully, but we intend to develop the other members as well. So doing the Glissotar is first the body is made by a very big CNC machine. It's big like this room, I think.
Oh, bigger.
Or even bigger, yeah. So it's a big factory, and then glue it together like so it looks like a coffin. And then after gluing it, they mill it from the outside as well, and then it goes to Tobias, and we make the laser engravings. Yes, the logo, the Glissotar, and the serial number. And then there is another company with a machine which cuts the magnetic foil very precisely, because it has to be in a matching pair, and it has to be replaceable, so it has to be very precisely. And then there is a brass instrument maker, yes, so he makes this brass part and this brass part and that brass part. A jeweler makes the octave keys.
I can show you some parts, because
yes, we have some parts.
It's a fresh parts from the comes from the molding factory. It's
I see that.
Yes. So
I got the instruments like this. So actually, I make the fine finishing. So this is what I get, but it has some minor problems here. So I have to file all the shape,
Do you have to
and resand, cut this open,
Okay.
So
There's a lot of things for you to do, actually.
and he has to glue the neck in, because there is brass as well, and make the cork on it.
So it's like all the parts now come here.
Yeah.
And you put
Yes,
them
yes.
in the magnetic strip.
Yeah, and the magnetic strip,
He glues it in, and he makes this
shape
small
also,
parts.
yeah.
Also with a wooden inlay, or what was it?
Yeah, wooden inlay.
Yes. And there are not only this wooden version, but we have this 3D printed version as well.
So does the CNC... no, the CNC doesn't make this.
No, it's a 3D printed.
Where does this one come from?
It's another different factory.
Actually, there is a guy who is a very big expert of using and building 3D printers. So he made a 3D printer which can produce this long. Yes, we had a call for composers 3 years ago for writing 1 minute pieces for Glissotar, and we got 75 pieces from 26 countries all over the world.
I guess besides microtonal music, what else have people been using this for?
Some of the people using it in improvised music, pre-improvised music, experimental music, and also contemporary composers are always looking for different sounds and approaches of the old instruments. I'm playing in another band which has influences from Oriental music as well, and there is a Hungarian composer Máté Balog who wrote a piece, Glissotar concerto for Glissotar and string orchestra, which uses makams. So it's a Turkish scales with quarter tones.
My day with Dániel and Zsombor revealed the incredible craftsmanship behind the Glissotar. This new instrument blends traditional woodworking with modern technology, drawing inspiration from saxophones and Hungarian folk instruments alike, and innovating a clever magnetic strip fingering system. What makes the Glissotar special is not only its unique sound and its revolutionary capabilities, but the collaborative spirit behind its creation, from CNC manufacturing to handcrafted finishing touches. As for my own Glissotar, Dániel assured me that it was nearly complete, and sure enough, a few weeks later, I received it in the mail. After seeing the instrument's journey from concept to creation, I'm even more excited to explore its musical possibilities and to see the concept develop further into new instruments. In a world where innovation seems increasingly rare, the Glissotar reminds us there are still new frontiers of musical expression waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this journey, please visit my website to learn more and subscribe for future episodes of The Instrument Makers.